What up, Frugal Babes, Frugal Bobs? It's your girl, Krazykerins, and I'm so excited to invite you to a challenge that I have devised. Alright guys, if you are watching this video on June 24th, it's my birthday, okay? Yes, it is my birthday today. And I'm so excited that you have tuned in to watch me talk about myself. No, I'm not talking about myself on this video, but I am talking about something that came to me a few months ago, and I figured, why just do it for me? Why not share it with all of you? So let's just get into it. I am doing a Fat Cows Savings Challenge. Yes, I said it, a savings challenge. 2020 is not a complete washout. 2020 is not over yet. 2020 still has some potential if you allow it to have potential in your life. So, Fat Cows Challenge. What the heck? Why fat cows? Before I tell you why, let me give you a little bit of history. For my entire life, and I am in my kids' room, this is their bunk beds, whatever. For my entire adult life, I have always, given myself a pat on the back because I always pay my bills on time. I would never miss a payment. Oh, I'm so amazing. I'm just such an amazing consumer. I was not an amazing consumer because just because you pay your bills on time does not mean anything. If all you're doing is paying the minimum amount and you're always carrying a balance over to the next month, that's not good, y'all. They making money off of you. Interest. So that quickly caught up to me when I got married in 2013, and it really became a reality when we had our kid in 2015. Everything was fine when my daughter was born because it was the end of November, it was Thanksgiving, a month later it was Christmas. We were in a holidays. Yes, I said it, in a holidays. We didn't really kind of notice the reality of what it was going to be like to pay bills and, have a baby and all that goodness until late winter, which means it was the start of 2016. January, February of 2016, we started realizing like, oh my God, this is like super duper expensive. Our bills were piling up. Buying things for our baby daughter was insane. It was just expensive. So that is when we got into a debt consolidation company. Thankfully, we did not go into bankruptcy. That's a whole other story. But long story short, we got ourselves out of it. And fast forward, we are in 2020, and we, don't mind my son, he's in the background. We have been able to pay off all of our miscellaneous debt. If you follow me on social media, you will realize that this week I posted that we paid off over $71,000 in miscellaneous debt. That is credit cards, personal loans, car notes, just a bunch of miscellaneous debt. We paid that off and we are at zero. Right now, all we owe are our student loans and a pension loan that I took out for maternity leave and a pension loan that my husband took out a few years ago for a personal family situation. So we have paid off all of our credit card debt, which is so darn awesome. But these last few debts that we have, they're a little bit bigger. And for me personally, like my student loans, I can't send them like extra payments here and there because it puts me in overpayment status or paid ahead status. And that's just a whole issue that maybe I'll vlog about it in another video, whatever. Long story short, for right now, I cannot send any extra payments because it disqualifies me from the program that I am in. So with that said, we're going to be focusing on a pension loan that I owe. I have a pension loan of about $9,000, but again, I can't just send an extra $100 here, an extra $100 there. It is either continue to let it be taken out of my paycheck, paycheck at a time, $300 at a time, which I don't feel it because I don't see it, or I can send a lump sum. I can send a lump sum in December, which brings us to why I am doing this savings challenge. Here we go. Okay, so Fat Cow Savings Challenge. Why the heck fat cows? I'm gonna tell you why fat cows. Y'all know I be loving me some God. I really do. I love me some Jesus. That is my son in the background. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's talking, and we are just thankful that he is talking. So fat cows. So there's a story in the book of Genesis, I believe it is Genesis 41, if I'm mistaken, I'll correct it down below, where the king calls in an interpreter because he's having some weird dreams. And so they bring in Joseph, and he's like, I've got these weird dreams. And Joseph was like, tell me about your dreams. And Joseph listens, and he says, okay, well, of the dreams that you're having, they all mean the same thing. The one dream in particular that I'm talking about is the fat cows, okay? So the king saw 7 fat cows coming out of the river and then begin to graze. How wonderful. But then he sees 7 skinny, ugly cows coming out that same river. And when they came out the river, they started eating the fat cows. OMG. The king wakes up. He's startled. He has another dream that is similar to that, but it's not cows. But we won't talk about that one right now. So Joseph says both dreams aren't exactly the same. God is telling you what he's going to do, and he's going to do it. So you got to prepare for it. So Joseph says the 7 cows, fat and skinny, they talk about a length of time, 7 years. So 7 fat cows means 7 years of plenty and excess, and 7 skinny cows is 7 years of famine, right? So he's saying what's going to happen is that you're going to have these 7 years of like all this excess and greatness, and you're going to be amazed at all that you're going to have. But then 7 years of famine are going to come, and it's going to eat up all of that harvest that you had. So he says, I suggest, king, that you get yourself somebody to be in charge of managing the time of excess. So the king hires Joseph. Long story short, they begin to harvest, and they begin to save 1/5 of every harvest, so that when the 7 years of famine would come, they would have stored grain to get them through the 7 years of famine. I think that's right. So why has that story been weighing so heavily in my heart? The beginning of the year, a lot of stuff was happening. Death in the family, my daughter almost dies, coronavirus pandemic, global shutdown, just a lot of things were happening. But still in my heart and in my spirit, I just kept feeling like, oh my God, this is like a season of fat cows for my family. Like, this is a season of excess. This is a season of blessing. So there was one morning where I remember I was like up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was just praying in my mind, and I'm like, God, I'm believing for fat cows. I'm believing this is the time. I am. And then my mom that same day was like, oh my God, I was up at like 2 in the morning praying for you. And God was telling me that there's just things that are going to happen in your life that they're going to seem backwards, but it's going to be in your favor. And this is a season of fat cows. And I said, there go those fat cows. So I ran with it. So Jack? So what is the goal with this challenge? The goal of this challenge is to save a portion of the harvest that my husband and I are living in right now, and really save up, because the fact of the matter is we don't know what the future holds. And I personally have been experiencing a lot of uncertainty because I don't have job security. For those of you that know, I transferred to a new school district, so I'm like at the bottom of the totem pole right now, trying to work my way up. I don't have tenure status, and even aside from that, I teach music, and sadly a lot of people do not value the arts in our school system, and usually those are the first things to go. So as of last night's board meeting, I still have a job, praise be to God. But who knows? That might change. I don't know. I don't know what the future has. But all I'm saying is that for right now, I am going to prepare. So let me talk to you about this challenge that I'm doing for myself. And I'm inviting you to join in and do it with me. So let's talk about it. So what is my vision with this? My vision is to empower you, empower myself with the ability to save our money and not run to credit cards every time an emergency pops up. Like I used to do that a lot, and I'm trying to break that chain of like bondage. I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm trying to build up some good habits. And whoever joins me on this challenge, hopefully you will be able to build up those good habits. Now, what's the mission? How are we going to get through this challenge? Let's talk about it. Okay, so number 1, you have to set a goal for yourself. Me personally, I'm going to share with you my goal and how I'm going to attack it. But you have to say to yourself, okay, by December, I want to save X amount of dollars, okay? So it might be $1,000. If you're into like Dave Ramsey and his baby steps, maybe you want to save your $1,000 of emergency fund. That's a great goal. Maybe you say, you know what, $1,000 is a little bit too much for me. I don't know. Maybe you just want to save $500 so that you can, I don't know, buy your Christmas gifts. Cash. That's a thought, right? Maybe you want to save $10,000. I don't know. It's whatever you can do. You just have to set a goal for yourself. Number 2, you got to choose a perspective. What do I mean by choosing a perspective? Everybody gets paid differently. I get paid twice a month. Some people get paid weekly. Some people get paid monthly. So you have to decide how you get paid so that you can then take your goal amount. If your goal is $1,000, and then you would take your perspective. If you're like me, you get paid twice a month. You have to see how many pay periods you will have between July and December. Divide that by your total goal, or divide your goal by total amount of pay periods, and that'll tell you how much money you have to set aside out of every paycheck in order to meet your $1,000 goal in December. So I kind of explained already number 3, which is calculate your contributions. I just told you what to do. Once you have your goal, once you have the amount of pay periods from now until, or July until December, that's going to tell you what your contributions are going to be per pay. Let's keep going. Very important. Designate where you're going to hold your money. I want to encourage you not to hold your money in your regular checking account where you pay all your bills from, or in like your regular savings account. I don't know. I want to encourage you to have like a completely separate savings account that you really don't look at, that you really don't have much access to, because if you see your money, you might want to grab your money. So you got to decide where you're going to hold your money. And I'll explain that more when you see how I'm going to be doing my challenge. And then the last thing to do is to just start saving. Start setting aside that money and start filling in the Fat Cows tracker sheet that I created. And I'll explain a little bit more about that sheet so you understand how to use it. Excuse my son. And the last thing to do is just to start saving, and this is where you get to use your Fat Cows tracker worksheet that I created. So I have uploaded a Word document to my website, www.thefrugalmom.org. You can go download it for free right now. Go to my website. And I've left it as a Word document so that you can tweak it to match your goal. So if you've got a $5,000 goal, then you can put $5,000 at the top, and you can put the amount of cows that you will need to reach that goal. I will show you mine. You'll see that mine is a $5,000 goal. There are 50 cows, and each cow is worth $100. So now that I want to talk to you guys about what my personal goal looks like, you'll get some ideas of how to tweak your challenge for yourself. All right, so my goal is $5,000 between July and December of this year. So this is how it's going to work. My goal is $5,000, which means I have 50 cows, and each cow is worth $100. Every time I save $100, I get to fill in a cow. You get to tweak yours. If you have a $1,000 goal or a $500 goal, you can delete the cows, you can add cows, you can do whatever you want with them fat cows. But just do something with them, okay? So, how am I going to calculate my contributions? Well, my perspective is I am a bi-monthly earner. That means I get paid on the 15th and I get paid on the 30th of the month. So, when I looked at how many pay periods there were going to be between July and December, there are 12 pay periods for me. So, I take my $5,000 and I divide it by 12, and that gave me a $417 contribution per paycheck. For some, that might be a lot of money, but remember, we have paid off all of our credit card debt. We have paid off our cars. So the money that we used to send to all of those creditors, I am now paying to myself. So that's why I can handle a $5,000 goal. But again, you have to see what works for you, right? All right, so now the most important thing, where am I storing my money? I am using Capital One 360. I have been using Capital One 360 since it was ING. Remember when it was ING, like a long time ago? So I have had that account for many years. My husband told me that there's a new type of savings account, and I actually opened it just because, whatever. It's called the 360 Performance Savings. It has a really nice yield on it, and it takes like forever for the money to get in and forever for the money to come out. Here's the pro of that. If it takes 3 days for the money to come out, you are less likely to constantly tap into that account to withdraw your funds. The hard part about this is that it takes 3 days for the money to go in. There is my daughter. So since it takes 3 days, it will be sitting in your checking account, and you might be tempted to say, let me cancel the transfer. Don't do it. Just let it sit there for 3 days and then it will come out. But I like this account because, number one, it is free. And I like that F word, y'all. That's a good F word, free, okay? It is a free savings account. Again, it yields very well. And I don't have daily access to it. I don't look at it. I only look at it when I'm putting money in or taking money out. And I gotta tell you, you're gonna see, I'm gonna show you a little screenshot. I don't withdraw any money. I just do lots of deposits. So, I mean, you look and see which account you want to use for yourself, but I want to encourage you not to put it in an account where you have easy access to your money, because then what's the point? You're going to be like withdrawing your money all of the time. So I am hoping that you will join me on this challenge. I'm hoping I'm not the only one that's going to do it. And if you're wondering how the heck are we going to keep ourselves accountable, I want to invite you to join my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group called 2020 Debt Trackers. I'll put the link down below. I'll send some invites out on Facebook. You can join us and we can keep each other accountable on this process. We can keep each other motivated, inspired. We can share our stories through Facebook. And it's just going to be a really great time. And I know that this challenge is going to help you to really build up some good habits. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, or give it a don't like, dislike, whatever, mama, don't care. Tell me I'm cute. Tell me you like my hair because it is growing. Oh my gosh. Tell me something. Just engage with me, and I will see you next time. Love you.